Hey guys, so you ready for today's October 23rd, 2024, 11:23 p.m. Central Time. Need all of you to help me with info, please. So for example, the last video I did regarding the directive from DOD, I literally had no idea that had come out. Two people on X had sent it to me. Two people on YouTube had posted it under my videos, and I got 3 emails about it within 3 days of apparently it coming out. So otherwise, I had no idea it came out. And that was extremely helpful that they sent me the fact that this came out and sent me the directive. So if there's something going on that you want me to do a video on, or going on in general or something, please let me know. You can email me at it's shortened for government, GOVT, secrets007@gmail.com. My handle on X is USMC Wolverine. Or you can... I don't really go on any other platforms. I'm on Locals, so you can actually post on Locals if you want. Or you can post in this video or any video I have, because I do look at comments and stuff. Problem is, I'd prefer you post on this video, because I don't ever get notified of comments through my email anymore, and I don't know what the deal is with that. It's been that way for probably over a year. So I actually have to go into my comment section, like my main, under the studio, to see all the comments and see what I haven't responded to. And have to go into held quite a bit, because a lot of comments get fucking held to approve them. So if you don't post under this video, it would be very difficult for me to figure out where the fuck you posted something. So government, GOVT, secrets007@gmail.com, USMC Wolverine on X, Locals, again, I'm on Locals. You can post on, any of those video or any of the posts I have on there. Some are public, so you can post on them. I do have a subscription on there for $2, but I don't do a bunch of stuff on there for my subscribers at the moment, because I haven't done anything anywhere for at least 2 weeks. I guess I'm just like, since Congress is out of session this entire month and they don't come back till after the election, I guess I'm kind of like burnt out a little bit on politics and the world and geopolitical crap and even the Middle East. I rarely watch the news, read articles. I have Fox Business in the background. I don't watch Fox News. In the mornings anyway, and I'll mute it. And literally, guys, and I've done this for years, over a decade, I literally sit at my desk, like, working on stuff for my business with a 9-inch portable DVD player, which, by the way, anyone who wants a DVD player, it's an old model. I think it's from like 2011. It is a Panasonic. It's a Panasonic LS92. It has a removable battery on it. Absolutely. If you need a portable DVD player, a Panasonic LS92 is the route to go. And believe it or not, people still sell it for like $100 on eBay. It's probably from like 2011, 2010. Those fucking things are a champ. They last for a very, very long time. And the batteries on them, they say they work for like 7 or 10 hours or something. If you have it on that is if you have it on the highest brightness, highest color, highest everything, which it looks ridiculous when it is. So you just lower it a little bit and make it look more realistic. Those batteries last like 14 to 18 hours straight, because I rarely sleep. So I'm watching stuff straight through. So yeah, seriously, no joke. Panasonic LS92, and I actually have quite a few of those little fuckers sitting around. I use one to sleep, and I have one in here, and I have backups. So anyway, beside the point, I literally watch reruns of comedy sitcoms. Like, I've been watching Seinfeld, The Office most recently, Everybody Loves Raymond, 2.5 Men, Adventures of New Christine, like... What the hell else do I have around me? All kinds of stuff. I watch the old sitcoms. all day long while I work on stuff, and I don't understand how I'm not tired of them yet. And I watch Big Bang to death. Oh my God. I actually burned through these DVDs, like scratched the hell out of them and stuff. I've actually owned 4 sets of the entire season of Big Bang Theory because I have worn them down to death, and they've gotten so scratched up and stuff. So it's quite ridiculous what I do. I don't know what's wrong with me. So anyway, I've kind of pulled myself away from the world. So if there's stuff going on that you want me to do a video on, or going on in general that perhaps is important, or you just want to send me something that you think is relevant, I don't care. Please send it to me because it would really help me get back into the groove of things, and make me more interested in stuff. Stuff's just been so shitty these days, you know, like turning on any type of news or reading any kind of article. It's like everything is just such a downer, you know, the economy shit. Yeah, the stock market's doing well. And people are like, oh, Bidenomics, you know, the stock market's doing so great. And there's some jackass I was bullshitting with on Nextdoor, because I'm on Nextdoor, who's a hardcore liberal asshole. But I get along with him and we kind of debate back and forth about shit. But he's like, oh, God, you know, I'm retiring, you know, because he's older than me. He's like, I'm retiring and my pensions and my investments and stuff have gone up so well during this administration. Okay, well, the reason that the stock market's gone up so much is because inflation was such a huge deal and the Fed kept raising rates big time. And so during that time period, it wasn't doing so well. And since they've gone the other direction, meaning the Fed is starting to cut rates, the market is now going up because the market's anticipating those rate cuts. But also what's really driving the Dow right now and NASDAQ and everything is AI. Literally, it is AI. And like the social media type companies like Meta and Google and Amazon, which obviously isn't social media, but yeah, like Nvidia, and there's like a few other companies out there. Apple's doing well, surprisingly, because they really weren't in the beginning with their iPhone 16, but like they sold a shitload of iPhones in China recently, so their stock went up a little bit. Like I said, I watch Fox Business, so but that's what's really driving the stock market is the whole AI situation. And Meta and Tesla's down a lot. I mean, all these stocks in general, like the Dow itself is making record highs right now, which is fine. Great. Okay. Awesome. However, individual stocks, Tesla's down like 40% off its high. Nvidia's the only one that's way too out of the roof. I mean, they had to split the stock because it was up to like $900. Now it's like in the 1 something or 200 something. It's still climbing. And to be honest with you, I know this is getting off topic, but I don't really give a shit. NVIDIA is now coming out with a newer chip that is regarding AI. I don't understand how the companies like Microsoft and stuff are purchasing these microchips from NVIDIA in massive quantities, obviously. And so that company has a huge cash flow. But I've heard nothing about whether they've been able to fulfill these orders yet. And I don't know if it's because they're still in the process of it, so they haven't necessarily missed the deadline. Like the deadline's coming up, but they haven't missed it yet. I'm wondering if they're going to be missing these deadlines because I think they took way too many orders from way too many companies. And it'll be very interesting if some of these orders end up being late or falling through and what happens to NVIDIA. I'm really watching that company because it's just so interesting. But like with the data centers, Microsoft is making these huge data centers that are going to be taken over by certain companies and stuff. So their stock's up. I mean, it's Intel stock's up a little bit. So it's the tech. It's the tech that is running the Dow right now and the NASDAQ and stuff. It's the tech industry and it's some of the social media industries. But like all of the stocks that have to do with housing, Tesla, even like all of the stocks for airlines like Southwest and Delta and stuff like that are down. What's the other industry? Can't think of the other industry. Anyway, Tesla, home stuff, the airlines, all the car stuff like the Ubers and stuff like that. Uber's gone up a little bit recently, but they have been down, way down off their highs. So if you're invested in some of those major companies, you are not doing very well. You've lost a lot of money under this administration. So, but if you're in more of these solid areas that are like bonds and shit like that, yeah, you're doing well. Because, like I said, the the tech industry is running for sure the table of the market right now. So, I mean, I think even some of the banking industries like Wells Fargo and Bank of America are even down off their highs. So the point is, it has been depressing to live during this time period. And I guess this whole election situation is just shocking to me if people actually vote for Harris. And it's like, if you hate Trump enough, yeah, you'll vote for Harris. Why don't you just fucking stay home? Just do me a favor and just fucking stay home. If you are not out for Harris and so excited for her dumbass who can barely speak and has circular answers and only downs Trump and literally cannot answer a question and fucking, you know nothing about her because she rarely speaks about her own policies or what she wants to do. I don't want to go to the back. We don't want to go backwards. We want to go forwards. Well, okay. Well, what the fuck is forward? What are you putting forth on the fucking table, you loser? So, if you're for Harris, like something's brain damaged inside of you. But just do me a favor. If you're for Harris, go ahead and vote for her. But if you're just hating Trump and don't want him to get in, just sit your ass out. Like, seriously, just shut the fuck up and sit your ass out. And let the chips fall where they may. It's really annoying. The final thing I'll say about this video, I heard something brilliant, and it has to do with the state of Michigan and Battleground. I was watching, there was nothing on it. I watch, I don't know what fucking network that is. It was like Seinfeld or something. And then it goes to King of Queens, and I fucking hate King of Queens, and there was absolutely nothing on other than SpongeBob, and I just didn't want to watch anything on my DVD player. So I did go to Fox News, and Trace Gallagher has a late night show. If I do watch Fox News, I really like to watch Brett Baer, because that's actually a really legitimate show. But beside the point, Gallagher has a show in the evening that I'll catch every now and then. So I turned it on. He was interviewing people. It was a rabbi, a special ops guy for the IDF, like prior special ops for the IDF, and then this chick that is kind of like an expert on the Middle East and politics and stuff. And Gallagher mentioned how the Muslims, Arab community that is in Michigan, that's in Dearborn, that's huge. First of all, I know for a fact they did do this. They didn't mention this, but during the 2022 midterms, a shitload of them voted uncommitted. Had more of them voted uncommitted, we would not have Tlaib in office next year. But tons of that, like over 10,000 voted for uncommitted in the midterms. So what came up in this segment, though, is that it sounds as though that group of people in Michigan are planning on voting for Jill Stein for president because she's actually on the ballot. I had no idea that chick was still in this race, or still in the presidential race, period. She's been on the ballot for several cycles, and I have not heard anything from her going anywhere, mentioning her. I haven't even heard her name since, I think, 2015 when she was on the ballot, and she was on the ballot before that. I don't know how this bitch gets on the ballot. So anyway, they're going to vote for Jill Stein for a protest, okay? he asked the rabbi, what do you think of that? And the rabbi's like, yeah, they're just protesting. They just want to make a point that, they don't like Trump, so they're not going to vote for Trump, but they don't want to vote for Harris, so they're just going to vote for Jill Stein. And I don't know why they just don't stay home if they're going to vote for Jill Stein. And then he asked the Middle East expert chick. She was brilliant. Holy shit, is she right? They are going to come out to vote for Jill Stein, and this is why. To make a point to the Democrat Party that they need that community, and follow me, I'm not done, that the Democrats need that community to win Michigan. And like I said, if they vote for Jill Stein, Harris may lose Michigan because of it. So they're making a point that that community is needed. And rather than staying home and going to the polls and voting for Jill Stein, they're doing that on purpose to show, yes, we do vote. Yes, we went to the ballot box and we voted against you. Basically saying we are voters. We're not the type of people that will sit back and not vote. So basically how she said it was they're not just doing a protest and they're trying to make a point, is they're trying to show the Democrats and manipulate the Democrats into the fact that if they don't do what that Muslim Arab community wants and they don't cater to them, whatever their needs or interests are, that they will vote against them, whether they vote, for the other side or vote like a Jill Stein or, write some random name in or something. They're proving that they are actual voters, period, that won't stay home. And that we will fuck you over if you don't do what we say. And I thought that was a brilliant way of thinking about it. Because like the rabbi said, I don't know why they don't just stay home. That's why they're not going to stay home. They want to prove that they are active in politics. And that they are making that point. That, hey, had you catered to us or, listened to us or whatever the fuck, we would have voted for you because we did show up at the polls. And I thought that was a really brilliant point. And a pathetic, sick idea that that's the case. But, I honestly don't see how Trump doesn't win this election. I don't see how he doesn't really run the board, to be honest. Just because of how bad Harris is. Like, it almost is like the Democrats. Now, if Harris wins, I'm not good at predicting elections. But, if Harris wins, okay, whatever. But Biden was their choice, obviously. And then it's like, we all saw what happened with him. He's not even running the White House. He's barely at the White House most of the time. He's never run the White House. They're like, who can we put in this situation? Well, the Democrats have a tradition to run the VP for the following presidential election, if you notice in their history. So technically, they'd have a hard time bypassing Harris. The only thing they could have done is convinced Harris to come out to the public and say, oh, I'm just not interested in being POTUS, which would be shocking. So in short of her saying that, they were going to have a hard time bypassing her. And to be honest, like I've said this to people in the past, personally, I think they could have bypassed her because she's terrible. Nobody likes her. She's pulled worse than Biden, this entire time during this administration. She's in the shadows. She hasn't accomplished anything. Some people on the street don't even know who the fuck she is. So it's like, you could have probably bypassed her, but that's my personal opinion. But beside the point, so that's like, we have to install Harris because that's who we're left with. But like I said, I think they could have bypassed her. But since they didn't, and they could have, and they didn't, it's almost like they put her as a lame duck to just say, fuck it, see if we win. If we don't, we lose. And we'll focus on 2028. And we will get a competent, if you will, as much as a Democrat could be competent, to run in 2028 and focus on that during Trump's administration or Harris's administration. and get that going behind the scenes, because it's like presidential candidates actually prepare and get their name out there and start doing shit and, doing all these elite connections and shit way like 4 or 5 years prior to the election they're running for. I mean, it's like they're running for president for like 5 or 6 years behind the scenes. So whoever they're priming up for 2028, especially if Harris loses, if Harris wins, she may rerun or whatever, but whatever. It's like they're using her as a scapegoat to basically lose this election. And then we're going to have Trump, and Trump's going to absolutely fix a lot of things, but Biden destroyed this country warp fucking speed in ways that I had no idea how fast things could crumble. I mean, I always equate this whole situation to Tropico, the game Tropico. It's like if you don't put the right things in right areas and bring in do exports and imports correctly and don't have a correct fire department and stuff like that, and shit starts burning down and, people start protesting and all this bullshit, and like you lose control of the game to the point that like there's a return somehow, but it'll take you a long time to fix it. But it's almost like you just say fuck it and shut that down and restart the game. That's how I look at this administration. It's like they just set everything on fire at such a speed I didn't even think was capable in real life. So the damage that Biden has done, Trump is going to have a hard time reversing a lot of it. Like over 11 million illegals have come in this country that we are aware of. And there's 1 in 3 that get passed that we don't know that are gotaways. So that's like over 3,000 gotaways are probably in this country too on top of it. So what is that? 14 million illegals have crossed this border so far that like some numbers haven't even come out yet. God knows if the numbers are correct. I mean, it's like, what the fuck do you do with all those people, It's like, yeah, you can start deporting the ones that have fucking records. Yeah, okay, fine, whatever. But good luck finding them. Good luck rounding them up. As soon as Trump comes into office, it's going to be exactly what happened in Arizona when Arpaio was sheriff. People went underground, basically. Like, they disappeared. They wouldn't go out. They wouldn't go certain places. Like, there was a city called Guadalupe. That was literally like Mexico, and it was a very, very small area, that all Mexicans were in. I mean, they created their own city. It was really weird. You drive through there, and the speed limit's like 20, and you definitely want to go a little faster than that. But they've got their own like fucking police, fire. They have a huge church in the middle of the place. Everything's in Spanish. And sometimes it's a little creepy to go through there at night. I avoided that at all costs. It was by Mill Avenue is where Guadalupe was. Or sorry, the Mills, the mall, Mills, is where Guadalupe was. So you take a wrong turn, you want to turn the fuck around. So a lot of people stayed in that area because the police didn't have jurisdiction in that area, really. And so it's like everybody went underground, is all I'm trying to say, and went into the shadows. So it's like it's going to be very difficult to deport people in general unless they run into the cops somehow or do a crime and really run into the cops somehow. And, of course, it's illegal because it's discriminating to ask somebody to see their fucking papers or, whether their legal identity and shit. So it's like, I don't know how he's going to fix that shit. I really don't. Unless the person has a record here in the United States and they hunt that person down. I mean, they shouldn't have even been here to begin. Like, if they know they're here and they have a record and they've been released, that never even should have happened. But at least we have at least a name and kind of an area where that person might be. And likely they're committing crimes as it is, so they'll probably run into the cops. So you'll deport all the fucking rapists, murderers, pedophiles, all those fucking people back to wherever. But at the same time, when we deport people, no joke, the other country has to agree to take them back. That is the dumbest fucking thing I have ever heard. it's like if a bunch of fucking gang members and shit, like they've got that Venezuelan gang that's kind of going all over the place, especially in New York, and taking over fucking apartment complexes and shit, in Colorado and stuff. It's like, if you take all those gang members and shit and deport them to Venezuela, and Venezuela's like, no, we don't want them. Fuck you. I would fly a plane into Venezuela, get low enough, go slow enough, pop open one of those emergency things that becomes a slide that is a flotation kind of thing, slide, and slide those motherfuckers out of the plane and take off and leave. I'd be like, no, you're taking these people back. And if you don't want them, put them somewhere else. Like, I would not be negotiating with any country by deporting people. So, like, Venezuela, guess what? You're getting these people back. If I have to do it in the dead of night and put them on a bus and get them to your border and push them out, that's what I'm going to do. So Trump's going to have a very difficult time trying to do this type of shit. And people, I mean, illegals are from around the goddamn world are in this country now. It's not just South America. We're talking Middle East, Africa, Asia, everything. We've got shitload of Chinese people here now. I mean, I don't know how he's going to fix that. I really don't. I don't know how the fuck he's going to fix this situation. He can fix the border, but as far as all the people that are here, holy shit, that will be interesting to see. But I mean, trying to fix the economy and get inflation way, way down, and it's like, it's almost like with the inflation situation, guys, everybody knows it. Prices on certain things aren't going to go down for certain products and groceries and stuff. Once something hits a certain price and people are willing to pay it, especially in a shitty economy, why would the company change the price? Why would the company change the price? If you're willing to buy eggs for $7 in a shit economy and you're broke, yeah, we'll bring it down to $5 or $6 or something like that. But we're not bringing it back down to $3 or $4 because we can get away with it. So a lot of the price situation that's going on is probably going to stay the same. And that's not price gouging. That's fucking capitalism. So it's like, Biden screwed us in a very permanent way in a lot of different aspects. And it's just shocking. The only thing he could really do that would help is shut down the whole green agenda, basically. Like, yeah, you want alternative bullshit, fine. Well, why don't you fucking start doing nuclear plants and stuff, nuclear power, you know? Because that's the cleanest bullshit on the planet. But somehow climate activists are against it, which makes no goddamn sense. Tells you how bright they are. But, like, just kind of shove it out. I mean, Ford and GM and some of the other, what's the other ones? Stellaris or whatever, have basically said they're pulling back from the EVs because nobody's fucking buying them. So shut the whole bullshit down. Get rid of any of the grants that are going to these so-called solar companies. We saw what happened during Obama's administration when he gave that money to that solar company. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. Fucking took the money, did some shit, and then went under in bankruptcy, and they're gone. And they got like millions of dollars for a grant to start up. It's like, stop all the grants, stop all these incentives, stop this bullshit, and fucking drill and get rid of all the red tape for leases and refineries and everything. And just, like he says, drill, baby, drill. Whatever you got to do, just get the fucking oil out of the ground and get it into the economy, because that type of stuff will affect us. It will affect our gas prices. It will affect the national security of this country, and it will affect the national security of our allies if we are able to start exporting to them, to countries that are relying on Russia, like Germany and other parts of Europe. It will help shut down Iran's little oil industry. I mean, energy is what is absolutely national security. So just by changing that policy alone and getting rid of all those regulations and red tape and stuff will turn things around a lot, geoglobally and here, for gas prices, energy prices, for homes and everything else. Prices should technically go down because of that, because it's costing a lot, because truckers are, obviously filling their trucks with diesel and stuff, so everything's costing more for them to get something from A to B. So if it goes down, technically A to B should lower the price of goods, which it may, you never know. Like I said, I mean, the opinion of, if you're going to pay $7 for eggs, why are we going to change it? It doesn't necessarily mean, that's just my opinion. It's not necessarily fact. So then prices will start to drop. Energy is a huge deal, He could do that on day one. Open back up the Keystone Pipeline, all kinds of stuff. It would just be amazing. It would be amazing. It would do a 100% turnaround in the markets, and OPEC would have to fucking suck it up and do whatever they're gonna do, because the price of Brent and crude is based on policy and what's going on in the world. It's not really based on. It's not based on today. It's based on future. How the outlook of things is how that type of stuff is priced into the market. So if OPEC decides to is going to slow down barrels a year from now, the oil, Brent and crude and stuff, all that shit will start to go up in price because it's going to happen in the future. But if OPEC says they're going to start making millions of more barrels, instead of dropping them, the price of the price of both those go down. So it's a future. Those are future outlooks. Those aren't today outlooks. So just getting Trump into office will automatically start dropping crude and Brent immediately anyway. Policy runs a lot of the stock market, 100%. So it's like he can do a lot of things on day one. He can fix the border and start shutting shit down and allowing ICE to do their job rather than be a bunch of babysitters and fucking intake people. Those types of things he can affect right away. But the damage that's been done long term is going to be really hard to fucking turn around. Really hard. So I have rambled entirely too much. Way too much. This was not the purpose of this video. So anyway, if you guys have any information about anything going on or want me to do a video on something, please email me secrets007@gmail.com, X USMC Wolverine. Post on this video below, or you can post on one of my public posts on locals. Anyway, this is Are You Ready For It? Take care, guys. Have a great day.